What is up, everybody? Phantom Darkness 135 here. Today, I am very excited to say that we're going to revisit an old and really creepy series, the Abandoned series by meltingminds.com. This was suggested by our good fan Saktier. Thank you so much for the suggestion for bringing us back to this awesome series. It's been 3 years since we played Abandoned 2. That's a long time. And I was originally, I promised you guys one blind playthrough and one regular walkthrough. And this was originally going to be the blind one because it was creepy. But this stupid recording bug in Bandicam keeps dropping frames. So my footage was basically ruined for the first run. So now this is going to be a regular walkthrough now that I've played through the game. Let's start a new game. I was told to never come to this place alone. Something is keeping me from leaving. I guess I should have listened to them. I must figure out how to escape this dark place. Sorry, went too much Shatner there. I'm very sorry, I apologize. Your game will be autosaved, which is just dandy. Let's start. As with the previous games, we're kind of put into this really creepy situation and location with very little explanation. I like that, all those shuns. But let's start out by going to the left, and we see our familiar ghost buddy that still creeps me out. It's not even that scary, but it still creeps me out. The first thing you want to do when you're running through this game is pay attention to these symbols that you'll see all around. Pay attention not only to what the symbols are, but what color they are. And I know that one's Phi, but I don't know a lot of the other ones besides Alpha and Omega. They're all Latin symbols, so... let's look in here, and we see all these lockers, and most of them are empty, but this one's got a little rusty wire locking it. What's up with that? We'll come back to that later. Let's look to the right here. We go back out to the courtyard. If we go even more... Ooh, ghost guy. If we go even more to the right, we find this dirty looking room, and is that a body? I didn't even notice that the first time. That's creepy. Look at this portrait, and I wish you could have seen the footage from when I tried to figure this one out. You have to turn it over, and there's a key on the back. You don't just keep clicking at it furiously. Nothing will happen that way. Just take it from me. I really like the... I'm sorry, I'm going off on an aside here in the middle of a walkthrough, but I really like this... I don't know how they do this method when they make games like this, where they take like real photos and integrate it with the game art of these creepy places. I don't know how you capture these photos. Maybe they go to rundown places and just take pictures, or maybe it's Photoshop. I don't know. But I really like it because it's very immersive. I feel like I can smell this place. So maybe not good immersion, but immersion nonetheless. So here we see a very 80s, 90s looking hot drinks machine. And we see a number symbol. Again, I don't know that one off the top of my head. But I know it looks like a little G and that it's orange. So keep that in mind. So now we've got a key. Oops, not the help page. No, that's what I'm here for. We got a map, which is not very useful if I'm being honest. It's just a dynamic little dot map. And we got an old small key. So where are we going to use that? Let's find out. The only place we haven't gone in this hallway is forward. Oh, actually, we haven't gone backwards either, but we'll go forward first. If you go to the left here, we see an interesting looking portrait up here of a bunch of logs. We have a taller looking log, a small log, a medium-sized log, another tall log, and another small log. That's to a puzzle over here, but I just realized we're going to need something else before we even start there. That something else can be solved by going downstairs and not upstairs first. There's another symbol, an alpha. Take note that it's green. If we go to the right down here, we find this creepy looking hallway. We follow it down to the edge, and we see a bunch of drawers here. Most of them are empty as well, but one of them has a small key in it. We use that key down the hallway. If I close my inventory, to the right, insert the old, old silver key into here. To the right we find a crowbar, which we'll use in just a second. And I believe that's everything in this room actually. Our character thinks he sees something move down there. I don't think there's any more objects. Backtracking down the hall, there's some very sneaky drawers off screen here. And one of them at the bottom is jammed, but luckily we just picked up a crowbar, which we can use and then use again to move these little papers around, and we get our first gem. I say first gem because there's going to be a lot of these guys. Well, not a lot, maybe like 5 or 6, I think. And they correspond to those symbols we keep seeing. So we're going to have a green gem, and it's going to correspond to that Greek, or did I say Latin letter earlier? I meant Greek letter. Greek letter right there. But all that will come later on. Let's go to the left here, pick up this shovel, and explore the room to the front here. This room doesn't have much in it, but it does have a gem hiding underneath this piece of paper. Other than that, it's just garbage. If we try to head back here, there's a door, but we can't access it even with that little key, so we'll just leave it for now. That looks like a person's watching us, and that is really creepy, but we're going to move on. Moving upstairs, we're going to go back to where we were in this hall here. We're going to go to the right first, and here's an interesting list. I don't know if they hired the people first and then made the lock, or if they made the lock and then strictly hired people whose names begin with R, D, L, or U. But there's a lock later on in the game that depends on this combination of their the first letter of their names. So R corresponds to right, D to down, left to left, or L to left, U to up. So the code is R, D, L, U, R, D, U. We'll keep that in mind for later. For now, we have this small key that we can use right here. First we have to click up and use it. In here we find a little crank. What does that do? We'll see in a second. If we go to the left down here and move forward, we see that the crank has lifted up what was an old refrigerator. There is a spot to go forward here, but we're not quite ready for that room yet. Do take note of the yellow symbol on the wall. So we picked up that shovel back there. Let's go ahead and put that to good use. We're going to use it to dig up this little mound right here, if I can get my hands on the shovel. And we get the orange gem, which corresponded to that G-looking character that was orange. We still haven't been able to get into that locker yet, so let's go ahead and fix that problem. We gotta find... if we go to the left here and left again... I knew I missed something back here. It was back here the whole time. In this room, or not this room, Phantom. No, it's gonna be... Where was it? I guess it is... it must be up in the hallway somewhere. We have some pliers that we need to get, but first let's take a look in here. So here we get the total list of all the symbols we'll see in the game. Take note of the order: alpha, phi, G looking thing, Y looking thing, omega, E looking thing. Again, not so good on the Greek terminology. Here's the lock I was talking about. So our code was R, D for down, left, up, right, down, up. If we click that, we'll get another key, an old rusty key. We'll stick that in there, and we'll use it in just a second out in the hall. We can move forward. We'll use the old rusty key on the old rusty door. We'll move forward. This room looks pretty trashy. There's nothing much around here, but there is a weird colored banner right there. You know, if we move that, a radiator, I don't know what you call it. Banister? Banner? I don't know. Put this purple gem in our inventory for later use, and we're almost there. We just need a yellow and blue gem. So let's move back here. Here we see the logs. Those are the same logs that we saw in the picture, but we still need the mallet, and for that we need the pliers. And I need to find where that room was that I found those pliers. It was here! It was one screen to the right. My inventory was probably hiding it. So here we see a pink Y-looking symbol, keep that in mind, and here's our beloved pliers that will help us along our journey. These boxes don't have anything in them but spiderwebs, but you can stick your hands in and feel around and feel the spiderwebs if you're that kind of person. I'm not judging. I mean, I love everybody equally, but you're a little weird and you're freaking me out, lady. Alright, so we use the pliers on the rusty little wire they had on there, and we get the mallet. We'll keep that in there for a second. Moving on forward, to the left again, and backward, we can finally solve the peg puzzle. So it was one tall, one short, one medium, one tall, and another short. We use that, we open it up, we get the blue gem. We need to put our mallet back first. Now, all we need is the yellow gem, which I believe is going to be... I gotta close my inventory. down here. It might, no, it's not in here. Where was that yellow gem? If we use our crowbar here, we get the yellow gem, which I knew where it was all along. Really, I was just... Anyway, we get the yellow gem, we put it in our inventory, and we are ready for the final puzzle. So, a very scary looking mirror. We open up the screen with the necklace, a very empty necklace. And so now we can take a look at our symbols. So the order was alpha, phi, G looking thing, Y looking thing, omega, and then the E looking thing. Corresponding to the colors, the alpha was green, the phi was blue, the G looking thing was orange, the Y looking thing was pink, the omega was purple, and lastly the E looking thing was yellow, as we saw right outside the door. We pick up the gem, or the key rather, from the gem necklace. That, my friends, is the key to the exit, which is the very decorative door we saw in the basement to the left and to the back. We insert the key, and we finish in just 766 clicks. To give you an idea of how my first run went, it was around 5,500 clicks. So be glad you're seeing the abridged version. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me for this adventure. I'm really sorry about the synchronization issues we've been having lately. I'm hoping that we'll find a solution or something to fix it. And I apologize ahead of time if it turns out that this video has synchronization issues too, but I hope it doesn't. Thank you so much to Melting Minds for the awesome series. Thank you so much for Saktier for suggesting the game. And he has also he or she has also suggested Abandoned 4, which we will play eventually. But for now, I am Phantom Darkness 135. I thank you guys for joining me for this adventure, and I'll have a blind playthrough coming up for you guys very soon. Thank you guys so much for joining. For now, I am out of here.